Hi and welcome to day 5, and today we'll be doing a little bit more solution solving from the home. So these are things that you can do yourself and introduce, and I urge you to embrace these things. So regardless of which ultimate direction you take through menopause, either to ignore it or to totally harness the things I'm going to share with you in the next couple of days, or whether to go down the medical route and have HRT, I really believe that it's so beneficial to do this stuff additionally. So I'm going to go through some foods that I know will aggravate your body at the moment, and some things I know that will appease it and pacify it. Love my whiteboard. These two. Now, I'm a nutritionist, so I've got a fair understanding, to say the least. I'm actually the only professional with dietitians who is qualified to talk about food. I do this day in, day out. I have seen grains and dairy cause more harm in humans than benefit. Now, they do come with nutritional content. Dairy is high in calcium, grains have B1 and fibre and other things, but I've seen them cause more harm than good, and we can get those things from other food sources. I'm suggesting, and this isn't an individualised diet plan for you, but I am suggesting for now you pull back on those things. So grains are things that are grown like grasses. So wheat, rye, barley, oats even. So your muesli, you might have to change for a gluten-free muesli or just a pure granola. Rice and corn are grains that tend to slow us down. They usually have a high glycemic index, which means the sugar in those grains are given to our body very quickly, and our bodies don't cope as well as we get older with that fluctuating insulin swing, and we tend to gain weight. Tends to slow us down, and it confuddles all our other hormones too. So I'd be encouraging you to pull back on grains. Now, if you're someone who has a grain-based diet, which means you have toast for breakfast, muffin focaccia or spaghetti for lunch, and always have a little bread roll at night time or crackers, it's going to be a massive change for you. If you're someone who is really determined to make this successful and take this opportunity to, really accelerate your health up, just drop them. So instead of having salad sandwich, just have the salad. Dairy is another one which I've found that most people, particularly when I do an IgG, which is an allergy test to see how people's bodies cope with it, don't cope at all. We are not baby sheep, we're not baby goats, we're not baby cows, and our stomach does not have the enzymes to break it down. So the protein chains in dairy, which is cow's milk predominantly, but it can be in the other animal milks, is really quite complex, and our bodies struggle to break or denature the proteins because we don't have the enzymes. So sets up inflammation, it inflames every mucous membrane, our sinus, our thyroid, our gut, and creates a situation where we often put on weight. Now, most people, my generation, and in fact, in my country, Australia, we've been almost indoctrinated to have dairy as part of our everyday life for calcium. Great strategy. Our main export is dairy, cow and dairy. So it's really difficult to let go of this food group, and if you're concerned that you're going to be missing out on nutrients from it, please take a consultation with me or get another opinion. But my experience shows that we don't actually break down dairy that well. It's got nothing to do with the sugar, which is lactase. That does actually scientifically affect 1 in 5 people, but 1 in 3 can't break down dairy. My experience higher. So the main things that dairy would give us as people eating it, consuming it, is calcium. Now, calcium is very important and interesting. It's found in so many things. So as a mineral, it's a muscle mineral. So we'll find it in all meats. We'll find it in green leafy vegetables. It's very high in nuts and seeds. So by omitting this group, you don't necessarily have to miss out on a calcium source. You can increase that through other food groups. The biggest thing with calcium, I find, is that people fall in love with camembert and brie. That seems to be the hardest thing to go, and I get it. Trust me, I went through this myself, but when I gave it up, I think that year, which might have been maybe 6 or 7 years ago now, I dropped 8 kilos just like that. And that's the only thing I did. I stopped having a latte in the morning. I went to a different milk, and I stopped cheese, and I didn't realise what it was doing in my body. And I'm a nutritionist, so I understand this is a very confusing area for people. But those would be my 2 recommendations. If you do have any concerns, please contact me. As I said, this is broad advice. It's not for your exact needs, but experience tells me that most people don't break those 2 things down very well at all. Okay. Other things that will aggravate symptoms through menopause. People tell me chili and hot stuff and curry. They'll have it. Woof! There goes a flush. And that can happen in your 20s. So to put fuel on the fire through menopause might not make sense. Red wine too. It's I don't know if it's a histamine in it or the salicylates, but certainly the amines. There's something in red wine that will often bring up a flush or lead to a night of flushing. So you might want to pull back on those while you're going through this change. Some things I strongly advocate that you introduce: green leafy vegetables and herbs. Now, I prepared this earlier. I just haven't had a chance to eat it yet. So in my, I'll try and hold it up. Now I do look like I'm one of those foodie crazed people. This is silver beet, and if I can just get behind it, this stuff is called dandelion. I don't know if you can see it there. It's kind of got these purple veins that go through it. Dandelion is this incredible green leafy. It's very bitter to taste. Bitter is actually on the side of your tongue, and when you eat it, I'm not being a great advocate for it, but bitters are good. Lots of countries in the world advocate eating bitters because they get your stomach acid switched on. We don't use food nearly as much as we should to prime our body for digestion. Dandelion, spinach, great green leafy vegetables. Now, there's also pak choi, plain old lettuce on all the varieties. All your herbs. So I've listed here some of my favourite herbs. I go to the organic markets and I just buy bunches of this stuff, and they look like bouquets. Dill, sage, thyme, parsley, coriander. Now, what this group have, the green leafy vegetables, are really high in a few things. They're really high in something called phytoestrogens. Now, they're naturally occurring estrogen balancing components. Typically, the Western diet doesn't have a lot of them, and when we look to our sisters and what they're doing in tribal countries, they have a plethora of these things. I go to Nepal regularly, and they have saag, which is like a spinach, twice a day. Really high in phytoestrogens, really high in antioxidants, and alkalize the body. So I just showed you here, just to give you an idea. I'm going to steam this later today. That's one sitting. Like I have this once a day. Sometimes I'll have it twice a day. So free your thinking up about herbs. With parsley, dill, coriander, I'll get, as I said, nearly a bouquet, and I'll have the whole lot chopped up into a salad. There's no right or wrong here, but when we read recipes, they'll say, I'll have 1 tablespoon of dill. So we'll measure 1 tablespoon. Go crazy with the herbs. So they've got phytoestrogens, which help our hormones balance naturally. They're also really high in antioxidants, and there's so many antioxidants that we need for health. I won't go into all of them. I do a hair test, which is in the shop on my site, and the hair test actually goes through if you're low in certain antioxidants, which a lot of us are. We're low in antioxidants, this stops working, and we're prone to cancers and other diseases. So green leafies are amazing for that. They're also really high in iron, which gives us more energy, B group vitamins, lots of things. I love them. What can I say? I adore green leafy vegetables, and I want you to fall in love with them to the same degree and passion that I have for them as well. Just a couple more things with foods. Try and give your body easy proteins to break down. So we need more protein, not less. Most of you will need about 100 grams of protein a day. 1 egg has 10 grams. Chicken breast has about 25 to 30 grams. So you need 100 grams. On average, there is a formula, but on average a day. A lot of women I find during this time will be eating toasted sandwiches and pastas, and they won't be getting that much protein. They'll be getting 40 to 50 grams of protein. Increase your protein, but make them easy proteins. So when I say easy proteins, the hardest thing for our body to break down is pork. Beef is also quite tricky. Sorry, I just shifted the camera there. Easier proteins tend to be things like nuts and seeds. Fish is really awesome, and if you don't like fish, that's okay. Turkey breast is fine. Chicken, but make sure it's hormone-free. None of this poor little battery chickens. Occasionally lamb can be okay, but see how you feel after it. The heavier meats, the porks, the kangaroo, the red meat are harder to break down, but valuable sources of protein. And one big thing here is flush your body. Help your liver, help your gut, detoxify and get out all the excessive hormonal rubbish from over the years. So ballpark figure again, about 2 litres a day, or if you're from the States, I'm not too sure what it is in pints, but in Australia that would be about 250 mils, so you would need 8 of those a day. And yeah, you still need 8 of those a day in pints or gallons. A lot of people don't like water, so what I recommend here is getting some mint. Oh, I didn't have mint there. It's a beautiful herb. Put some mint in there, or slither up some vegetables and marinate the water, like with slithers of zucchini and carrot. You can put in pineapple, lime, lemon. If you have an issue with water, just flavour it with something natural. Otherwise, just go to town on this stuff. It's beautiful. Talking very quick, obviously I'm passionate about food. I think food is underestimated and underused as a tool for everybody. I'm Italian by heritage, and I know that we nourish ourselves predominantly through our mouths, but also through what we see, what we hear, what we touch, and what we feel. So nourishment's a whole lot. I do hold retreats on nourishment to go into this deeper, but for now you've had some of my biggest grabs on food, and now I urge you to go and find a market. Get some of these fresh. Go and meet the farmers. Find an organic market. Like, really step this up. You won't regret it. It will liberate you and make you feel really empowered. So I'll touch base with you tomorrow. Have an awesome day. Bye.